Hello, everybody. Welcome back to West Virginia University Esports. Tonight, we have another Rocket League showdown. It's going to be your WVU Lotus roster playing up against, James Madison University. I am going to be your caster tonight, Gabe, and I have a special guest with me tonight, your Rocket League captain, your very own Angel.
Hello, everybody. I wasn't expecting to be here today, but special guest is here. So kind of excited to watch this matchup tonight. I'm sure it'll be a good one. It always is. Excited to see the second team. Our match got kind of moved today, so I kind of had the opportunity to come in today, be a special guest, kind of observe the second team, and finally kind of see what they're made of, because usually I don't really have the chance to watch them. So I'm kind of excited to see them kind of play tonight.
As am I. I mean, like you said, your guys' match tonight did get moved to, I believe, Thursday, right? Which will not be streamed, unfortunately. We have other treats for you. We're going to have Call of Duty that night playing up against Akron. So it's going to be a big one, so don't miss that. Anyway, tonight, Lotus. We have Emma, we have Hira, and we have Yak. So Yak has been your guys' sub for our main Rocket League roster for a couple years now. We've seen him play with you, Tool, sometimes Matt, every once in a while. Either way, it's going to be interesting seeing him with two new teammates. I mean, as somebody that plays RLCS, right, you have different teammates every once in a while. What do you think is like a big kind of mental block for him, or possible, getting into a new team?
It's hard going into a new team. There's a lot of chemistry issues. There can be play style clashes. Kind of how you want to play is similar to how a teammate wants to play, and things like that can go kind of wrong with it. So it's kind of important to practice. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But I think Yak's capable. He's definitely somebody who has hopped into our games, and that's at a level, a higher level than maybe he's used to sometimes, and we're playing really good opponents. He hops in, he plays just as good as us, and he fills in really well. So I don't think this is going to be too big of an issue for him to kind of come in today. I think he's, like I said, very capable of it, and I think he's going to do a great job.
That's something I always liked to touch on when Yak got into one of your games, is like, you see the word sub next to someone's name, and naturally your brain kind of clicks to, oh, they must not be as good as the other guys, but he's a really good player, right? So along with Hira and Emma, who have shown to be able to play really well together on Lotus last year, it's going to be really fun to watch. And, to be honest, we don't know much about this James Madison roster. We haven't really seen them because they play in that NACE Varsity Plus level that Lotus is at right now. So, we never faced up against them. But I'd imagine if they're in NACE, they must be a competent team. So it's going to be a good matchup. What kind of style are you expecting from Lotus? Because I'd imagine you watched some of their matches last year. So now throwing Yak into that, his play style very well.
Yeah, I think Yak's going to be kind of the spearhead on this team, like offensively. I think he's going to be kind of the guy who's setting up plays, making the plays happen, kind of setting up Emma and Hira kind of in front of the goal. But he can fit in anywhere, so it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I didn't have too much of a chance to watch before because usually we have matches, but now that we do get a chance, it's going to be interesting to see if Yak's going to be able to be that spearhead, or he's good enough to kind of drop back. And I know Emma and Hira are just as capable to kind of be on that offensive side of things, work the field, kind of high and low. I know Hira's really good in the air mechanically. Yep. She can set up a lot of stuff. Yak behind that is very scary. It's the same way the other way around. Yak can kind of be in that spearhead, and then Hira coming in behind, Emma behind. I think anyone can play kind of anything on this team, and that's kind of what makes them dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we, I didn't want to really give an impromptu interview here, but just some news for the weekend. We did just get back from the Harrisburg University Esports Invitational. We're going to have content coming out with that pretty soon. So if any of you missed, Angel, along with Tool and Matter, made it to the finals. Unfortunately, did drop to Concord. So I just wanted to get some little debrief thoughts. How do you think you use things like that turning into the rest of NACE? And, you have CRL coming up, a lot of auto reviews, a lot of, new maybe ideas coming up, or, how does that set your mentality going forward?
It's a good question. It's hard to say. The hard thing about LAN is it's very different from online, and that kind of puts a plug in things because we don't really have a LAN necessarily coming up for a bit. So it's hard to balance. Do we want to look at the issues that kind of plagued us at LAN, or do we want to kind of go back to look at online stuff that's happened? Because like I said, LAN is a very different kind of beast from online, and a lot of stuff can change from that. And I think going forward, we're going to be kind of keeping those losses in mind. We're going to have kind of a more mindful approach to how we're going to approach the next games coming in NACE. We started off 0-1, obviously, and now we're 1-1. And I think we're going to kind of keep that, like I said, approach kind of going ahead into things, but not forgetting, obviously, what happened and kind of keeping that level head, that kind of approach that we take to LAN and kind of mixing it with online and kind of having a sort of mix between the two and learning from both.
Absolutely. And, we see your team and Lotus kind of in two different kind of predicaments. Lotus coming off of didn't have much to play last spring. So coming off of a pretty long break with the whole summer, and then you throw Yak in there. And you guys have NACE, you have CRL, you had HUE this past weekend. So, how do players like yourself kind of balance coming off of long breaks versus having so much at one time?
It's tough. It definitely is tough. It's something I've talked with people about, and kind of it's kind of like a mental challenge almost, where when there's a lot of events and things are going on, like motivation is high. You
Yep.
want to, you want to play, you want to do good in these events. You see results instantly, and then kind of when you're in the slow off season, motivation's maybe a little bit lower. You want to do other things, play other games. You're not necessarily scrimming with other people, because a
Yep.
big thing people forget is when an off season comes and there's not events, other teams also aren't scrimming. So it's hard to even get scrims in the first place,
Yeah.
and that kind of can plague a team for a while. So it's interesting that you brought that up, because I think WVU Lotus definitely might have a couple cobwebs coming into this game. Kind of haven't played in a little bit. I talked to them a little bit before, and they kind of mentioned that a couple players are at Worlds, so they've kind of taken a little bit of time off. They haven't had a huge chance to practice. A couple things that have plagued them outside of necessarily in-game stuff. So it's going to be interesting. I think this first game is going to tell us a lot about what's going to go on with kind of the rest of the series, and maybe even the rest of the season for NACE for them, because this is their first match. So it's pretty big going to be, or a big match going into how the rest of the season is going to play out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what I was getting at. There's going to be some cobwebs, like you said. There's going to be some rust. I always say you got to knock the lactic acid out of those thumbs on the sticks, right? I mean, what kind of stuff do you think they've been doing to prep in this summer and coming into the fall? With, hate to bring it up again, but with Yak stepping up, and this probably is big for him as well, because he's used to kind of being the man on call. Just if one of you guys goes down, he's the next man up. But now he is a guy on this roster, right? So is there any difference in kind of preparation for all three of the players on Lotus?
I think so. I think a big part, as I mentioned before, was kind of that chemistry thing. And if you don't have chemistry between players, you can look really discombobulated on the field, and it can kind of throw everything out of whack. So as far as not playing in the offseason, I think there's a big difference between maybe not scrimming and not playing together. And I know that they've played a little bit of ranked together. They've kind of played a couple games. It's not like they haven't played at all, which does put my mind at ease a little bit, because I think they're going to definitely use that to help them going into this. So we'll have to kind of see how they interact with each other on the field, how they play. And it's, again, why I mentioned this game one's going to be kind of so important to see how it's going to go.
Absolutely. And I think we have a few minutes before the lobby gets going. So I kind of want to continue this interview. This is fun. We never get a player on cast. This is actually this is history. First time ever we've gotten a player on the cast, and it happens to be a legend of WVU Esports, if you will, right? So you guys have long season coming up. CRL, you guys mentioned, it's going to be on the weekends, will be streamed, so keep an eye on that. But with this season coming up, right, you have a lot of tough matches ahead, right? You've already played St. Clair, you played Bruton Parker, two good teams. St. Clair is a team that you actually took down this weekend at HUE. So do you think playing teams in tournaments versus regular season, is that different for how you see it? Like you said, there's a difference between online and LAN. So you unfortunately dropped the game against St. Clair, but then you came in and you beat them at LAN. Does that give you an extra confidence boost, or is it still a little different switch in your head being on LAN versus online?
I think it does. I think it definitely does give a confidence switch in the fact of, I feel like we beat them when it matters, kind of that kind of mentality that when push comes to shove, we got the win, and that's kind of what's important there. And I think that's how we're taking that win. As it's kind of the first game that we played this semester, whether it be CRL or anything. That was kind of our first match. Obviously, we're not giving any excuses. Fair play to St. Clair. They played well that match. We lost that match. It is what it is. But looking forward and kind of how we take that loss, I think we kind of bounced back, and we showed that we bounced back at Hugh, and kind of getting those game wins over not only them, but other teams we're going to be playing. Kind of obviously going to see a lot more this semester. And it gave us a big confidence boost going into those matches as well.
Absolutely. I'm excited. In a couple weeks, you actually play Ole Miss, which is a team that they didn't make top 4 at Hugh, which, it didn't have to bring that up, but I kind of wanted to shoehorn it in, Either way, that's another big team. You could maybe call it maybe a rivalry these days. Would you say that?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. They have.
I don't want to force you to. I don't want to force you to bring anything up.
No, congratulations to them for finally, getting the win to trash talk us on Twitter. So congrats to them for the big win. We did miss them in playoffs, unfortunately, but They still beat us, though.
Yeah, they did, and thank you very much for that interview. But we are finally into this game. Thank you guys for sticking around for that little interview. That was so much fun. Anyway, we are in it, and we have a match to cast, folks. We're gonna see the ball already in a pretty dangerous position here.
Yeah, it looks like kind of early pressure already going across the field, trying to get some possession game going, kind of feeling both teams kind of feeling each other out, seeing how this game's going to look, kind of a little good control touch to the corner there, and kind of going to be going around the field, trying to push up finally to get a little more aggression going. And that's another hit downfield, kind of getting a little more. Oh, and a goal from Yak, starting it off early.
Yeah, sorry, I had a bit of a little technical difficulty, but let's take a look at this play. 3/4 court, just a bit of a clear there. I bet in the comms they were yelling, open goal, free shot, just get the clear. And I mean, every once in a while you have an open goal. You can't rotate instantly sometimes, right? And off of this tip, we're going to see this JMU team a little bit more pressure on that Lotus side of the field. A good little touch there in the air, and the ball, a little opportunity for a shot there, but a good 50 there from Lotus to get the ball back towards their side, and a little battle up here in the air, and Yak is going to fly up, get another good touch.
Yeah, it looks like this WVU team's got a lot of pressure to start, kind of backing up a little bit, but kind of keeping their way upfield. Miss on the ball there from Mira, but she does regain possession here, going around. It's another touch, another 50 out to the midfield, miss. And WVU gets pressure back.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good pressure there from both teams, and it looks like Hira at midfield is going to get a good touch, and a demo there onto that JMU squad is going to stunt their attack for a minute, and a dangerous position for the ball, and Yak gets his second goal of the match. The ball just stagnates there right in front of the JMU goal. A good touch off the wall from Hira, setting him up perfectly over the hood of the JMU player.
And that's exactly what I was talking about right before we started this series. I was talking about Yak as that kind of spearhead, and there he goes. That first goal, he's kind of that spearhead, and then the second goal, here is the spearhead going in. They can both play both positions, and that's kind of what makes this team so dangerous.
Absolutely, and Hira getting demoed early there off the tip-off. The ball here in a pretty advantageous for a second there for JMU. Couldn't get anything done with it. West Virginia back in that corner. Trying to get a good setup in the middle of the field, probably for Yak or Hira streaming down the field, and a good hit there from the Lotus team. Keep that ball away from their side of the pitch. Another demo comes in.
We go back around the field, hit over, beats one off the corner. We're going to be looking for a shot, and it's an open net for Emma.
And Emma getting her first point of the season. Cryptic Bubbles missing the touch there in the sky, and what an angle there for the shot. Nobody could reach it for JMU, and Lotus are up 3-0 now.
What a start for Lotus. This is exactly what I was talking about. It's so important for their first game, kind of establish their dominance and kind of establish how they're going to play as a team. And it looks like so far they are doing exactly that, establishing dominance over this roster. 3-0, looking to make it 4. We'll see if they can get out of defense here and transition to offense.
And I'm not seeing those cobwebs you mentioned pregame. I mean, they're out here cooking. Every hit is on point. They are finding the open goals, and just like that here, like you mentioned, Hira loves to play in the air, and a good setup from Yak, streaming behind once again, showing his expertise in this video game and putting another one away. We're going to see 4-0 now in favor of Lotus.
Great shot, top right. Looks like Monkey Moon right there. Not even using air roll, just slotting it top right. Gets them up 4-0 going into this game. I'm sure they're feeling confident now.
Oh, the confidence is definitely high. Now the ball, bit of a dangerous position there for Lotus. Nobody can get back in the field, and off tip, JMU puts in their first point of the match, cutting that lead to 4-1. Let's take another look at that. Emma, Yak, no boost to get to it, and they drop a goal there off the tip. I mean, great play there from JMU.
Yeah, it looks like Emma was not really expecting that 50 to come so quick, and kind of gets beat and couldn't really have a person back, and they get a goal. Fair play to the other team. They make a good play. They get one back.
Absolutely. Now the ball back in an advantageous position for Lotus here. Emma getting that bump into the corner. Now Hira's following up possibly a shot, but a little too far right. Yak does have the follow-up, but good defense with a save there from the JMU team. Be fighting for the boost there in the corner. I believe Hira came out with it. You know, JMU's, they got to look for a clear here. Keep that ball away from their goal. It's just been hanging around in the air in those corners.
And here comes kind of Yak back the other way, spearheading their offense. Once again, he gets bumped off the ball, so he can't do much. He actually recovers, passes it back midfield to Emma, who can't get a shot on net. Still keeps the pressure, though. Hira coming around the corner now, trying to take a 50, maybe pass it midfield to Emma. Oh, but she gets bumped. Can't finish the goal.
Very good bump there from JMU to keep a shot out of the cards for West Virginia. Now these JMU players, they've been very clumped up for a while now, and good clear there, finally getting that ball away from their goal. So maybe they can take a deep breath here, try to get another goal in for the next game, kind of a confidence boost, as we like to say. You got to score for the next game. Either way, they're looking for a double tap there. Third shot doesn't go in. Another good save from Emma.
There we go, cycling back around. Miss on the ball. We actually get Yak to get possession, holding possession. Flick over one, maybe over two. Doesn't get quite over the second. Here's up, though, to beat Emma with the shot, possibly. You're off the backboard, back into Emma, and it's just a bit far off.
They're just
I like
flying around this field. I mean, like you said pregame, they like playing in the air, and we're seeing a lot of that, and Yak's going to get a good touch over in the corner. A little bit of a bump there, but there's a demo on a Lotus player, so maybe JMU might have a shot on goal here in a sec, but no, it's going to be Lotus looking for another one to close it out, but with the clock ticking down, the ball's going to get grounded in just a moment, and we're going to see a victory here, I believe 4-1 in favor of Lotus.
And that's a great first game for WVU Lotus. That is exactly what you want to look for when you're coming to start a season. 4-1, moving into game 2 now with all of the momentum, and it looks like they're going to try to continue that momentum going into game 2, try to work their way towards a sweep, take that second step, and get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're taking a look at those stats for a second. Yak with 3 goals in his Lotus debut. That is absolutely massive. And on 8 shots as well.
He's sniping. As we saw, when I kind of referenced him looking like Monkey Moon without the air roll, puts it top right, shooting in front of net, passing. Here was passing it to him right in front of net. Everybody's kind of getting involved in that offense for WVU Lotus, and that's something scary if you're the other team here looking at this.
And we're going to get into the second game. And off the touch, Hira is going to get that first touch. It will be recovered by this JMU team, but looks like it's Yak. Might have a bit of a tricky shot here, but a good touch from JMU to get it off that top of the crossbar. And now the ball streaming down that left side of the pitch.
Here takes another touch, goes to Yak, up in the air, doesn't get past one. Ball going towards net, but Emma's back. She collects to the corner, takes possession here, waits, flicks over one. Nobody there to collect. Back on defense as Yak tries to challenge. One bump in net, coming in for the shot. Emma just blocked, but it goes right in front of the net. No one there to save it.
Ball is stagnated. That's such a dangerous spot to have that ball just stagnant in the middle of the air right in front of your goal. And a good touch there from Emma to kind of keep it in Lotus's grasp, but a couple good touches. Looking for a demo there, and they do collect it. Yak doesn't get the boost, opts to take a shot instead. Good save there from JMU. Now they're going to be fighting for possession here in front of the JMU goal. A little run there, and Yak is able to secure the save.
WVU Lotus back on defense now, but we're holding a lot of pressure before that. Looks like they're trying to move back up the field now. Trying to take their time, get a couple touches over them. Looks like we get a touch to the corner, another one around. Yak racing back. Nobody seems to be back just yet. Might be an open net. He is beat.
He is beaten. Now we're going to see Cryptic Bubbles here with no boost. Same with Fishy. Uses all that boost to try to get a touch, and Yak gets the save. We see here on the left side does fill the boost, and can anyone get back in goal? No, they can't. Cryptic Bubbles just with a touch from midfield puts in the first point of this match. Let's take another look at it. I mean, what a shot.
And again, that's another dunk. WVU Lotus having the right ideas to control the ball, try to take it slow out if they don't have boost, try to wait for a teammate, just not executing those 50s right and just getting dunked and it goes back to their net, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Lotus playing from behind, something they didn't have to do at all last game. And Emma flying high, looking for a bit of a, maybe a double tap there, but JMU able to get that clear. Now Yak playing in the corner, freestyling a little bit, showing off his mechanics. Hero with no boost, keeping an eye on that ball.
It looks like WVU Lotus is kind of having that aggression again. Shot off the post, rebounds, can't get it in. Emma waiting to collect, gets it over backboard, double. Does she have it? Flip reset, doesn't get it. We're there to collect, and goal from Yak into the open net, and all that pressure just suffocating the other team. Nothing they could do. No boost if you look at all of them to even go up in the air to get the ball, and Yak just taps it right over their heads.
I mean, shot after shot after shot. There's nothing really you can do when you have to use your boost for the first 2 saves. You don't have any for the third. We did see the crossbar be the best defender for a couple of those shots. Either way, Yak finishes the job, gets it in the goal, and we're going to get into this next possession here. Cryptic Bubbles trying to get a little cut off that ball midfield, and Emma's going to be fighting for possession here. Their goal's a little bit open. Hamlin is able to collect possession.
Looks like the ball's going back the other way. We do block it off in midfield, kind of go the other way. Looks like we don't have possession control just yet. Ball's ping-ponging, excuse me, around just a little bit. Both teams trying to kind of establish control again with this ball. We got about 2 minutes left, tied up. Anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Minute 45 remaining in a tie game. Tension's definitely high, probably, for this Lotus team. You blow out the first game 5-1 and now, or 4-1, and all of a sudden you're in a close one.
Looks like Jarret kind of regains that ball, going around, goes for the bump, doesn't get it. Is that
Whiffs
open?
a little bit. Yak with a good touch, running low on boost in this 1v2 for possession. Gets a good bump though, so JMU doesn't get a good pass down the other side of the field. Hira once again with no boost. And all 3 of these Lotus players are just aerials after aerials, and Yak puts it in once again, like you said, spearheading that offense. Let's take another look. Off the ceiling, the bump over one JMU player in goal, doesn't get the touch, and Lotus up 2-1 with 69 seconds to go.
That just showed the experience of Yak controlling that ball in the midfield, knowing that they have a man advantage, taking the 2v1. Emma kind of running behind, trying to get a bump. Yak just taking it, collecting, flicks to the top left. It's a perfect shot. They're up now with just a minute left to go.
And now with a minute left remaining, you just kind of have to keep that ball in your possession. Don't do anything crazy and keep the ball out of your goal, but JMU already forcing the issue. Trying to tie this thing up, and Fishy gets a decent look at the goal, but no angle to finish the job, and now fighting for the boost. Fishy will be denied it. However, Hamlin with the bump up into the sky, and JMU flying in. Another decent look at goal, but no good angle to get a shot off, and Gears fighting for that ball down on the other side, and Cryptic Bubbles flies in from midfield and puts it in, ties it up. We might be looking at overtime here.
Now with some great pressure, putting the ball in awkward spots. WVU Lotus not really having great touches on the ball because they're low boost. It was a forced mistake. Ball goes out midfield, and JMU does a wonderful job collecting that and getting a shot on net. High game going into the last couple seconds.
I also love how Cryptic Bubbles has the goal celebration that is a bunch of bubbles. I think that's a very nice touch, but Lotus not playing for overtime just yet. The ball already in an awkward position on this JMU side of the field, and maybe a decent look, but JMU with the save, and now with 5 seconds left. The ball up in the air at midfield. It's anyone's possession at this point, but with 1 second left. JMU's going to try to keep it in the air. Excuse me, that's Lotus trying to keep it in the air, but it will be grounded, and we're seeing our first overtime for this Lotus roster.
We'll have to see how the start as overtime goes. It looks like WVU Lotus is going to start with early pressure, see if they can make anything of it. JMU kind of going back. They get a good block. Try to pass mid to Emma, who snipes it into the top right.
What a shot. Overtime did not last long.
Shot right off the crossbar, beating 2 defenders to the ball. That's kind of the speed, and we talked about here, and we talked about Yak, and what we didn't talk about was the speed and the kind of ferocity that Emma's bringing to the offense.
Absolutely, and let's take a look at that. Yak once again, 7 shots on goal. You go from 9 shots to 7 shots. At least a few are going to go in, and we do see Yak leading the charge with 2 goals. Emma with 1 herself, and Hira still playing, setting up a lot of attacks for this Lotus team. We've seen her all over the field, up in the air, getting the bumps, stealing the boost.
Absolutely, and I don't know if we noticed, but there was only 4 shots for JMU that game.
Yep.
And although it was a lot closer, they played defense well, they still did not have that pressure. If they wouldn't have any chance of coming back for a reverse sweep in the series, they need to start maintaining that pressure. They need to be on WVU Lotus's half for more than 10, 15 seconds at a time. And we'll see if they can do that in this 3rd game.
Absolutely. Now, off of this first tip, 5 seconds in the ball already. Streaming down the field. Somebody was looking for a bit of a double tap there. Either way, Yak with no boost, trying to make something happen, get a good bump. Good touch on the ball, and Emma, can she get it? She can, off the bumper of the defending player in the goal, puts it in, and already Lotus up 1-0 in just 20 seconds.
Exactly how they wanted to start this game after a super close game going into overtime last game. They get this game 3 started off hot, getting the goal early, starting to set themselves up, trying to make it not close, but then
off the tip. Off the tip, JMU catches them off guard, and it's going to be Camlant getting the first point for JMU this match. Let's see what went wrong. Another whiff, just a drive-through on that kickoff, and nobody back to get the save.
And that's exactly what you did not want to see if you're a WVU Lotus fan, giving up their early lead right back. Let's see if they can regain it here. It's still a lot of gameplay to go. 4 minutes and 30 seconds still on the clock. A lot to be left.
Very much a lot of time, and Fishy, they're stealing that boost early. Yak, already no boost in the tank. Gonna try to collect that corner, but it's gone, and Hira gets her first point of the year. Take a look, how did this get set up? Just nobody there. Stagnant ball, and Hira puts it through.
And what a shot. Hira to the top left, Emma to the top right. The WVU Lotus girls are showing how to shoot right now, putting on a clinic. Top right to end the last game, top left to start this one off.
The mechanics are definitely on point tonight. And we're going to see Cryptic Bubbles here in goal, trying to get a touch. The ball will roll past the center of that goal. Hira up in the sky, trying to get another one. Can she? No, a good save there from Fishy.
Still so much pressure for WVU Lotus here, not going back to their own half. Keeping the ball and doing a wonderful job. Putting it past mid, goes over his head, however, but still with pressure. Until it goes the other way, it might be an
empty
open net.
goal, and it is.
I've always wanted to have a caster curse finally happen. For me saying it instead of one of the casters casting my games, and I finally do it.
I have definitely caster cursed you, once or twice, but it feels bad being on the other side of it, doesn't it?
It does.
Either way, Cryptic Bubbles ties that up 2-2. Both teams showing off their attacking prowess on the Rocket League pitch, in a demo here. It's going to set up a run from Emma off the ceiling. The ball just sneaking over in that corner. Forced it back up. No boost. No teammate there to follow up. Now we're going to see a battle for the ball up here in the sky, and a good fly-in from Yak.
Sorry, that was Hira, I believe.
Or that was Hira, yeah.
And here comes Yak, speaking of the man, coming back the other way. Emma goes. Yak falling close behind. Can't get anything just yet. Pressure still with them. Trying to find that goal to give them the lead. Goes back the other way, though, as they lose that pressure.
Yeah, a good bump up here in the sky from Emma. She will lose the 50, giving JMU another attack on the goal possibly, but Yak will collect it. Streaming down the side, a good 50 there from JMU, but falls right into the wheels of Emma, looking for another shot, but a good save.
Man, WVU Lotus just kind of pelting the net over and over and over again. It almost feels inevitable that they're going to get this next kind of leading goal.
Absolutely, just a barrage of attacks here, and now Emma trying to keep it up. Oh, that was almost a disgusting shot there from midfield. Cryptic Bubbles will collect it, going on a run, a good save. Excuse me, a good touch from West Virginia. Now Yak stagnating there around midfield. Hira, 30% boost in the tank.
And this ball keeps ping-ponging back and forth. WVU Lotus seems to have a little bit more control over it. JMU doing a good job, though, however, keeping this game level. They're not out of it just yet. WVU Lotus can't really get complacent here. This is exactly when they need to close this game out. They need to not have any chance of a reverse sweep coming here if they really want to have a dominant win tonight.
Absolutely, and a good demo there onto Hira just a moment ago to keep Lotus off the ball, and a good shot here from JMU, and Cryptic Bubbles gets the follow-up, the rebound, puts it in, and takes the lead 3-2. It's going to be their first lead of the series. With a minute 55 left, Lotus have to respond.
Man, name we keep saying, Cryptic Bubbles, somebody who wasn't necessarily known to us coming into this match, but I think we'll remember it going after. He has scored multiple goals in this series, keeping JMU alive here as they try to go for a bump play to get another one off the kickoff. They don't seem to get that one, but it looks like they're setting up another offensive attack here.
Absolutely, and that ball was in a relatively dangerous position there for Lotus, down a goal. But here comes Emma looking for another impossible angle to get a shot off of, and it's going to be Cam recovering possession with his teammate flying up in the sky and off the top crossbar. Fishy can't put it in. Now Yak, a good bump in the sky there to keep the ball on the correct side of the pitch for Lotus.
And it feels like I mentioned before, again with this pressure, it feels like it's a matter of time until they break. As I say that, though, it goes the other way. Losing pressure, kind of regaining control if they can. A little bit lower here on boost, trying to get a clear out, trying to stall for his teammates, get some boost.
Absolutely encrypted bubbles here. We see the man of the hour trying to put in the killing blow, but can't collect it for JMU. And now the ball is going to be cleared to the other side. Once again, ping pong back over towards the Lotus side of the pitch, and the ball once again a little bit too far left, maybe too close for comfort to the goal if you're Lotus. Now they have to get something going if they want to tie this up with just 35 left.
And yeah, as you mentioned, time is going to be a really big factor here for WVU Lotus. They're going to have to start getting really aggressive here. It might lead to a goal on their half when they kind of try to push up, get that aggression going the other way. They're going to take a little more riskier challenges here, and we're going to kind of see how that plays out in the last 20 seconds, if they can get any goals to come to fruition, or if they're going to give one up going back the other way.
Here comes Hira. JMU looking for a touch, and they get it. But now it's going to be Yak covering that ball, and with 8 seconds left, West Virginia maybe have an opportunity to keep that in the air and get a shot, but JMU getting a shot of their own. And now the ball will likely be grounded, barring any magic from this Lotus team.
Ball still up somehow, going back the other way.
Still up, and Emma, the touch from JMU, keeps the ball on the ground, and we're going to see a 2-1 series now. JMU stealing a round there. Cryptic Bubbles with 2 goals on just 3 shots. 3 saves there from Fishy, really being the defensive mastermind for this JMU team. And the Lotus attack seemed to kind of plateau there in that game 3.
A little bit. I mentioned that this JMU squad is not going to be able to break through with 4 shots that they had last game, and I mentioned that if they wanted to start this comeback, they're going to have to get more sustained pressure. Pressure that's more than 10 seconds, pressure that's more than 1 or 2 shots on net, a barrage, and that's exactly what they did. And now they start to claw their way back into the series. Let's see if WVU Lotus can stop that now, or if we're going to be seeing a Game 5.
Absolutely. If you're Lotus, you're definitely not wanting a Game 5 here. You want to close it out when you can. And now, off this tip, in Game 4, JMU, decent look at shot, but Yak with the save, and now Fishy's going to do a little drive-through, and he can get the touch in the goal, and Fishy puts a point on the board early. We haven't seen many goals from Fishy tonight, but we see one there.
Fishy's starting to come alive at the later stage of this game. Exactly what you do not want to see if you're WVU Lotus. A player starts to get activated towards the later stages of this game. He gets what I believe might be his first goal of the series.
I believe so.
Pushing the other way.
It's been Cryptic Bubbles kind of running the show, and there we see Mira demoing Cryptic Bubbles early. And it's Cam still. So much pressure on this Lotus side of the pitch. Looks like that was Emma getting a good clear, though. Another shot, and Hira with the follow-up. Emma to Hira off the backboard, and Hira ties it up early. Both teams showing some offensive prowess early in this Game 4.
And again, just a great pass from Emma to set up Hira here. And again, we see that it's just passes back and forth between the team. Not a lot of solo plays coming out from each of them, working really well together. A lot of chemistry between the 3 of these players. Looks like they tie it up.
Absolutely tied game here, but JMU says not for long. Or excuse me, Lotus say not for long. Already looking for another shot, and it's Yak getting his numbered goal of the game. I don't know how many, there's been so many that he scored, but puts it in there, gives Lotus an early lead. Back-to-back goals is massive for this Lotus team.
It looks like he just dunked straight through the defender and gets the double touch. Not sure how intentional the double was, but definitely intentional dunking through the player.
When it's in a VOD review, it's intentional.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Momentum, does a great job getting back to it. WVU Lotus now looking to see if they can pile on.
Definitely need to pile on this pressure, but Fishy trying to turn the pressure into the JMU favor. Emma with a good touch on the side, though. No boost, though, so can't really contest this one. Has to back up towards midfield. Cryptic Bubbles looking for another shot. I believe that was Fishy. Good save from Mira. Still so much pressure on this Lotus goal. Yak, half boost. Stagnating around that ball there, looking for a touch. It's going to be Cryptic Bubbles, the man who led the charge, the last win for this JMU team. But Hira gets a good touch, clears it out. No boost, though. Has to get a shot off, but Cryptic Bubbles with a good save.
JMU just being relentless, not giving up in this series when they're down. It almost seems like when they're down, they get better pressure. It almost looks like they're in control when they're down. And WVU Lotus is on the back foot. See if that kind of keeps going as the series progresses towards the later stage.
Another good save there from West Virginia. Yak getting another shot on goal, but it will be saved by JMU. But here comes Emma in a bit of a 1v1. Yak can't win possession of that 50. Low on boost. Looking to try to swipe this ball away. He does get a good touch. Redirects that ball towards midfield. The JMU's able to recover, but here comes Yak again. Another 50.
That ball goes just over. Kind of see WVU resetting here, trying to wait, see if they throw away the possession. Ball back the other way. Good clear from WVU Lotus. And Emma beats to the ball. Going back the other way. JMU's there to collect.
Absolutely, and Fishy with a good touch there, keeping any possibilities of a shot out of the cards for Lotus. And ball, a little double demo there. Hira and Cryptic Bubbles both out of the game for a few seconds, and back in at Cryptic Bubbles. Half of his boost in the tank, getting a good touch, trying to keep the ball away from his goal. They don't want Lotus to pile this on, but Yak has other plans. Still off the crossbar. Emma with the follow, a little too far to the right. Here comes Cryptic Bubbles looking to tie it up, and he can off the wall to himself. Tied it up 2-2 with 2 minutes remaining.
Counter-attack, passing it out wide. Cryptic Bubbles gets a fast touch on the backboard. Too quick for Hira to read, and just a wonderful shot into the open net. Really good transition play from them, something we haven't seen too much. It's almost scary seeing these new things in their arsenal kind of come out in these later stages, tying the game back up.
Absolutely. I mean, when JMU needs them, Cryptic Bubbles answers the call. Really has been on the mark with his shots so far tonight. And Emma bumping the ball away. Hira looking for a shot, and it's Yak with the follow-up, putting it in. West Virginia, just like that. Lotus take the lead.
It's not going to be that easy for you, JMU. WV Lotus is here to get their first win of the season. They are hungry for it. They're not going to let you come in and reverse sweep them that easily. Looks like the pressure's back on JMU to tie this up.
Absolutely. Every time JMU puts the ball in goal, and it seems like less than 20 seconds every time Lotus ties it up or takes the lead again, it's going to be Cam trying to fly up and get a touch, but not the boost to do it. Fishy with about half of his boost remaining, trying to get the save, and he can off his back bumper. Back over to Cam in the corner. Another fly-in from a Lotus player to try to keep that ball away from their goal. At this point, you're just playing to avoid a tie. Yak flying in again, does get a decent bump there, but can't control the ball. See Cam with no boost, trying to get to the other corner, but no boost there to retrieve.
WVU Lotus start to go back the other way, knowing that they just have to hold on to this lead. They definitely want another one to kind of have a cushion, not have to worry about a quick goal. Good cut from Emma there in the midfield, a little bit dangerous of a play, but it goes back the other way. WVU Lotus just have to hold on for 50 more seconds to find their first win of the season here.
Absolutely, just 45 seconds away from a 1-0 record. And it's going to be Hira with a demo onto Fishy. There's a defender out for the time being, and I believe that was Yak looking for a shot. The ball stagnating, and it is Yak with the follow-up. Getting another goal, putting them up by 2. When you need him, he answers. West Virginia Lotus up 4-2.
Great pressure on WVU Lotus again, just getting in the face of their opponents, getting the 50s, keeping the ball in front of their net, making it awkward and boost starving them, and it will eventually fall in. They do a great job there. Keep themselves ahead this time, and even putting themselves up by 2. 30 seconds to hold on, and they're going to start with a 1-0 record.
Unless JMU pulls some magic out of their hat, this is going to be a 1 match for Lotus. And Yak is looking to pile on the score a little bit, but will miss the goal just a little bit to the right. And now it's going to be Cam with a shot, but a good save from Emma, flying in from that left side corner. Once again, with 10 seconds left, the ball's booted up in the air in front of the Lotus goal, but just trying to clear it, get this timer counted down. And just like that, the ball will touch, and West Virginia Lotus take their first match of the season against James Madison University in 4 games, 3-1.
What a series they played. Again, looking at the stats of this last game, 14 shots for WVU Lotus to 6 for JMU. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to keep that pressure. They regained their control of the series. They weren't daunted by the pressure that JMU put on in that game 3. And they looked great in that game 4. Close it out with a 2-goal lead here. And I would say that's a successful victory for their first, game of the series when we were worried about cobwebs.
Absolutely a successful series. I mean, we were mentioning that pregame. Might be some cobwebs, might be some rust, but when they get into that first match, I mean, what was it, 5-2 or 5-1?
4-1, I believe.
4-1. I mean, didn't look like there was any rust. I mean, Yak came out buzzing, goal after goal after goal. Emma and Hira came alive in that second game, getting goals of their own, and this Lotus roster really showed that, who cares we haven't played all summer? Who cares? We got a new player on our roster. We can beat anybody.
Exactly. And I mean, like you mentioned, game 1, Hira and Yak kind of showing that chemistry together and just putting goals early and giving them that motivation and kind of giving them that confidence going into that whole series. And really, they kept it going that whole game. A little blip in game 3, but even then they had equal pressure and kind of kept that going the whole series with kind of the confidence that they had. And it looked like a dominant win at the end there, 3-1 scoreline, but close game 3, but the rest were just all in WV Lotus's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we'd be, we have to mention Cryptic Bubbles there. Popped off there in that round that they won, and even in the last one, keeping it close, scoring a couple goals. But Lotus, great job responding. Like you said, every time Cryptic Bubbles put that ball in the net, they came back and put it in even faster on the other side of the pitch. So, I mean, any final thoughts on that first match for Lotus?
I think that's a really strong start for their season.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see that. Obviously, a 3-0 would have been preferred as a first game, but I mean, that's a very dominant 3-1.
You'll take a 3-1.
You'll take a 3-1. That's a very dominant 3-1 at that. And really great from WV Lotus coming in for the first game. And kind of excited, looking forward to the rest of their season if that's how it's going to look. Game 1, series 1.
Absolutely. And that's going to be our match for tonight. Thank you guys for watching this WVU Lotus Rocket League stream. In the future, we will have Lotus hopefully every Monday. We'll see how that turns out. But special thank you to our guest for tonight, Angel. I hope you guys enjoyed having a player on cast instead of one of our usual faces. But just for the week, look out. We have Valorant on Wednesday playing St. Thomas, a big one they just faced in Hugh, where our Rocket League team played. So it's going to be a bit of a revenge match there for the Mountaineers. Thursday, we're going to have Call of Duty in their Playfly tournament playing up against Akron. And maybe some content on Friday to stay tuned to. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.